Hi, it's Rebecca Jackson, Empathic Crow. So I've wanted to do a reading again for a while because I've just been called to it quite a bit lately. And I'm working on building back up to where I'm doing more and more of those. So we've got the Modern Witch Tarot deck that I'll be using. The Signs of the Times Oracle deck. So the Modern Witch Tarot deck is by Lisa Sterle. The Signs of the Times Oracle is by Crystal Banner. And then I'm also going to use the Chakra Wisdom Oracle cards by Tori Hartman. And I just usually I'll do tarot first, but I'm really being called to do the Chakra Oracle first and kind of get some of the emotions and things that are kind of underlying the message. I did try to tap in and figure out a message, but I also used the Ovulus. We got this one from Ghost Stop to figure out what I was hearing in the room. And so a lot of things that I have been talking about came through, and then even it was describing my L-shaped desk. It said L desk. It said crescent, which, I mean, you can think that, that's anything. It talked about a clock, which I'm working on making a clock. You just buy the craft at the store, and it comes with like the little, the clock is across the room, but I do have the little timekeeper is the only word coming into my head. The little pointers. That's not the word for it, but sometimes I can't think of the words. Okay. So we're going to take the hardware or whatever, and put that back in there. There were a lot of things. It even said Nana, and one of the pieces of furniture here in this room that I wanted in here because this is my space is an antique desk that was my Nana's. And then even Baby and Sign, which I have this little, and I gotta glue this down a little bit better, but this little sign in honor of my baby that unfortunately I miscarried. So just interesting. And it said, and we named him Hunter, and it said hunt. So I don't know. There's a lot of things in there, and it said telepathy several times, and I have listened to and been talking about the telepathy tape podcast a lot lately. There were a lot of other things that I just can't remember right now. I'll have to go back through the word list, but very much so question and response. I did record it, so I guess I can kind of look back through that too. Didn't think about that. 333. All right, so let's pull some cards from the chakra deck, and I have a couple of Reiki symboled candles that I created, and so we have the master symbol and the time and distance symbol. God, angels, guides, and ancestors. God, angels, guides, and ancestors. What is the message that needs to be heard? What do people need to hear? I just feel called to go ahead and just shuffle. So let's see what comes out. So this is the Chakra Oracle deck, Chakra Wisdom Oracle deck. Creation is the first card that we have, and the gray indicates the crown chakra. So really focusing on that divine connection, and that we co-create the reality that we have. And I know there's a lot going on right now, but I feel like it's important for us to focus on the things that are within our control and the things that we want to manifest, the things that we want to bring to light, and understanding that while there may be a lot going on in the background, things that we can't control or change, we need to focus on, like I'm seeing this beautiful Indigenous woman is kind of representing that higher self, that intuition, really focusing on what it is that you need. And that's interesting. So there's a full moon in the back of this card, and I do believe that we are coming up on, or maybe it's here, a full moon. So full moon typically is time to release things that no longer serve. So if there are things that you've been holding on to, this is time to let those go so that you can create the things that you do want. You can bring in the new beginning that you want. And just keep looking at the tree. Nature is just so important in general. And then her headdress has the circle, which can represent, of course, the circle of life. It's got the division of the 4 directions. There's so many 4s. 4 directions, the 4 seasons, stages of life, all kinds of things. So just understand, you know, we had a reading where it said this is a moment in time. And even though she is in the forest, there's so much light that she's bringing in. And I'm just noticing the position of the gemstone in her hand. Excuse me, I got the hiccups. It is between her heart and her solar plexus. And I feel like it's really important for us to really focus on that heart chakra and solar plexus right now. There's a lot of fear. And one of the things about fear is that it can lead to struggles. We put a wall up around our heart. We're worried to trust people. We're worried to connect with other people. And then as I was talking about the solar plexus, I realized the next card that I pulled was joy. And if you look at these 2 cards, like around both of them, we have this smoke coming through, but it's not like a mysterious or eerie kind of vibe. It is definitely uplifting. There's the halo of light that the smoke is coming from on this one, and then this is a joy card, and there's like the sunflowers and everything coming through. So even if it feels like there's, I'm hearing cloudy, even though it may feel cloudy, which there are some clouds in the back of this one, even though it may feel like things are fuzzy, that was one of the words that came up on the Ovilus actually. Even though things may feel a little bit fuzzy, you're not really sure your direction, the path that you want to take, at the same time, you don't have to have a definitive answer for yourself of what that looks like. The biggest piece is going to be connecting to your higher self, connecting to your intuition, connecting to whatever divine it is that you focus on. Could be higher self, could be God, creator, source, universe, Allah, whoever it is that you connect with, whatever it is that you connect with. Go out in nature if that's part of what you connect with. But it's really building this connection and focusing on more positive things, that joy, focusing on things that make you feel joy right now, because the gossip is ridiculous right now. And the gossip is stealing your joy. The gossip is taking things away. And I love how, even though you've got these 2 ladies in the background who just are disgusted with this one woman, she is her authentic self. Look at that green that she's wearing. And even in her heart chakra, like, this is so cool. So I talked about how this was between her heart chakra and her solar plexus with this gemstone. Well, look right here. Around her heart chakra, she has this yellow flower, which we've got the yellow flower, the sunflower, or that's possibly a brown-eyed Susan. I'm not sure. There's a yellow flower. Confidence, letting go of anxiety and fear, really stepping into yourself. And in this photo, that's exactly what she's doing. Like, she has a paintbrush in her hands and a paint tube. She's got her green on, like she's more vibrant than the two women that are in the photo. She is smiling. She is just authentic, completely being herself. And because she's being herself, it means that it's going to irritate and frustrate other people. When you are stepping into that joy and creating the life that you want, it's going to irritate people sometimes. And that's okay, because it's not about what other people think about you. If you're not hurting anyone, hurting yourself, or doing anything illegal, live your life. That's one of the things that I think is a blessing as we get older, is that sometimes we realize that we just need to live our lives, that we cannot please everybody, and that's okay. We're not meant to. With this dissipating, I feel like right now it's feeling stuck. In the next card, we had 3 come out: the gossip, dissipating, and isolation. I feel like it's as if you're minimizing yourself right now and just staying in one place. Again, we have this yellow. Like in this, I feel like all this yellow is representing that unbalance in the solar plexus chakra. So not being confident, having a lot of fears and worries. She's watching TV and it looks like she's watching a crime show. But I feel like this could even represent people watching the news too much. And then you're focused on things that may or may not be true. You're focused on things that you can't control. You're focused on all these things that just make us feel even more stuck and more isolated. And the truth is that you don't have to feel isolated. There are going to be people like these 2 women in this photo who do not like you. They do not like your energy. They do not want to be around you. But there are other people who are going to want to be around you. There are other people who are like-minded, and it's finding those people. There was a reading that I did, I don't remember when, but not too long ago, that it talked about finding the people who make you feel safe, who make you feel comfortable, the people who are your people. Because if people are making you feel like you're less than and they're judging you, they're not your people. Why am I looking at the photos here in the background? Like even when we look at, there's a painting over here and it's got some color on it. But then we've got these family photos, it looks like. And it's almost as if they're like ghosts. Like ghosts of the past, I just heard. So like feeling, and that's part of the isolation, like just feeling completely disconnected. I feel like with this too, recognizing that those connections, it doesn't have to just be your family. Family can be great, and if you have some good connections with family, that's awesome. But at the same time, understanding that it's okay for you to step outside of that box and know that it's okay to create relationships outside of that. Does that say something on it? I have a magnifying glass actually, because I do some cricket reading. It does say something, but it is hard to read. Let me see if I can, no, I was going to take a picture and zoom in, but my phone is sitting up here. What does that say? I feel like it's important. Something with T-I-O-N at the end. Let's see if I get it under the light more, if that helps. And this is supposed to have a light on it, but it doesn't really. And this magnifying glass, I got it at the Dollar Tree, and it's got something on it. It is not necessarily the greatest, and it's got scratches on it, so that's probably part of the problem. Let's see if I can see what this says, because it really does feel important to figure this out. Am I holding it wrong? Is that the problem? As you can tell, I haven't used it very much yet for my cricket stuff. I need like a second phone to be able to look at this. I feel like it's not supposed to go this way just because the light is on the bottom. And my eyesight is not that bad, but you see this is so tiny. Use my black light and see if that, oh, now I don't know if I'll be able to see it through the magnifying glass better, but that made it to where the invitation. That's what it says. It says invitation. Invitation, and the card is isolation. And I can't tell exactly what the invitation thing is on. Let's look up the meaning of this card, isolation, and see if it says, because I don't want to spend too much time on it. And blue, of course, is throat chakra. Isolation, sapphire's blue. So I've got all I could ever need right here. The legend, sapphire's blue. Occasionally he gets invited somewhere. Oh, that's why it says invitation. See, this is why you should read the guidebooks. After all, what would he wear? Oh, wait. Occasionally he gets invited somewhere, but invariably he turns the invitation down. After all, what would he wear? He bought a tux once just in case, but won't wear it because he might spill something on it. Yes. So this is what I'm saying. With the creation and enjoy, you can either sit here and feel judged and put yourself in a box, like dissipate, make yourself small, minimize yourself, isolate yourself, and not do anything because of that fear of what if something happens. And it's time to step out of that. It's time to get out of that fear, which makes sense why we've got two solar plexus cards right now coming through, that when it's balanced, confidence, self-worth, feeling good about yourself. And when it's not, anxiety, lack of confidence, worry, all kinds of things. Okay. Besides going out would alter his routine. He's tried to meet people, but he hasn't met anyone of his caliber. So Sapphire stays home alone and remains quiet blue. So the inspiration is, do not wait for the right time to live your life. You are on the verge of something big, but if you don't participate, it could pass you by. Again, creating that joy, being able to be your authentic self, not letting others judge you and put you in this space where you're just like not even living your life. She's sitting at home. She's got the bird, but she's not even paying attention to the bird. The people in the photos look like ghosts, like they don't even exist. She's watching a crime show. That's not very hopeful and positive. And then isolating. And sometimes that isolating, like it says, is self-imposed because we think, oh, I can't do this or I can't do that, or people aren't going to like me, or any of those things. And so the key idea is, you may be doing this for self-protection, but it's making excuses. You may be over-preparing for things. You don't have to be any certain way to do most things. And so just do it, because sometimes, and that's exactly what it's saying, never feeling ready to take action. Sometimes you may plan something and think about something, especially with anxiety when it's really high, for so long that you never actually do the thing. And you don't want to live your life in regrets. And so the keywords are celebration, experiences, and play. So that joy, that celebration, she is 100% in that celebratory kind of mood. And the play, she's got the paintbrush, she's got the paint, she has this very vibrant clothing, she's got a scarf on, she almost looks like she's dancing, she's smiling, she's very playful. And with this creation, it's really thinking about what you want, not what other people want, thinking about what you want and really connecting with what it is that you need. So a meditation you can do is think of something you've been putting off, a vacation, calling a friend, painting the house. And then we have a greenhouse with a lady in green, and she's got her paintbrush and her paint. Is the paint green? It doesn't really say, but she's got it pointed up at the greenhouse. So it could be painting the house, close your eyes and imagine yourself today involved in the activity. Come back when you're ready and then take action that will be much simpler. So don't overplan it. Don't overthink it. I'm going to go ahead and stop here with the chakra deck. The bottom card is prayer. And I always, when I see this card and I see the lemonade, I think of taking things that may not be that great. And, oh, wow, I've never really paid a lot of attention to that before. So as I'm saying that, yeah, taking things that may not be great, taking lemons and making it into lemonade. So right now, maybe you feel like there's a lot of doom and gloom in the world. That's part of why you're staying stuck. But just know, like with the creation, that there's a whole world outside of that. And that's how you're going to build up your self-worth. And again, here we go with just pulling cards off the deck. It's being able to release those things that no longer serve you. And so on these headstones, I can't tell what it says, and I'm not going to get the magnifying glass out again, but it reminds me of this activity where you may put things like sadness, anger, self-doubt, things like that on these headstones, like a worksheet or something like that. And those are the things that you want to give up. But you're going to have to let go of impatience. Things take time. Not everything is going to come to you right in that moment. There is divine guidance. There are divine things that are happening in the background. But if you try to push too hard and go too fast, or not focus on the things that are meant for you, it's not going to work. You got to let go of that perfection, that desire to be perfect and wanting things to be a certain way. Again, with the impatience, sometimes you're just going to have to go with the flow. It's all about perception. I feel like this whole reading can just be the chakra cards, actually. Maybe that's why I was called to do them first. Perception. So we've got this green stone. We've had a lot of green colors. And just like with the gossip, that heart chakra, being able to recognize that their perception is different than your perception. You don't have to buy into this negative perception. You don't have to buy into all the crap that's on the TV. You don't have to buy into the opinions of others. You don't have to worry about people thinking about you a certain way, treating you a certain way. That is their crap to deal with. So change your perception. Understand that you've got this radiant green emerald stone radiating heart chakra energy. You have this beautiful purple that's getting into that third eye and crown chakra and being able to connect to your higher self, your intuition, divine guidance. We've got the yellow balancing out that solar plexus energy, being able to feel more confident and comfortable. And then we've got the butterflies, knowing that this is a time of transition. This is a time of transition for everyone, but you get to decide what that transition looks like for you. And then we've got a lot of spring imagery. So there's a new beginning that's coming, and a lot of this new beginning depends on your perception of what you want and what's going on, and whether you're willing to make the changes or not. You know, with these butterflies, those changes. There's a wooden gate right here outside of the flowers. And so sometimes you have to just pull in that energy of love and confidence and understand that it may be scary because you don't know what's on the other side of the door, but you have to go through the door. You can't stand there in that rejection and that worry and that doubt, feeling like you're being judged, like you're not good enough. And again, we've got this paint imagery. So yeah, instead of being this artist, because you're an artist of your own life, you create, you're a co-creator. Remember, we started out with the creation card, all about the creation. Instead of worrying about this rejection, live your life authentically and in a way that resonates with you, and know that whatever you create, not everybody's going to like it, but it's not for everybody. And what they think, it doesn't matter. You don't have to worry about all these doubts. Look at all these voices inside his head telling him how he's not good. Let that go. This is a time of expansion and growth. And so with the expansion, you know, birthing new ideas. It can even be a global type thing. You know, as humans, this is a time where there's a lot going on. And so we have to be able to focus on the things that we can do. And we've got this very beautiful divine connection. We've got a couple of things going on here. Looks like maybe some elements. Could even be the seasons and things. We've got the angel or guardian angel guide that's here. And then even in looking at this woman with the cloak, she is a divine being as well. And just knowing that you have these abilities to create things for yourself that you don't even realize. And again, she's got this green mist in her hand. So the growth, the heart chakra, being able to understand that things take time sometimes. Like you see the roots here. It starts out as a root and then it starts to grow up, and it isn't until it gets past the surface that we truly see the fruits of our labor. We see what we have started, those plans, those ideas start to come to fruition. And so it may take some time. That's why you got to have the patience. You can't be in this impatient mode. And even look, we've got with the impatience and the expansion, we have the same angel here watching over, like, it's coming, just be patient. You don't have to worry. And we've even got these same spirals. So it's almost like when we look at this, it's beyond you. It's not just you. Again, you're that co-creator. And then we've got what looks like a full moon again. So we've got the full moon in both of these. So right now, like I said, I cannot remember if right now is the full moon or if it's coming up. Usually I keep up with those things, but I haven't been as on point with it lately. There've been a lot of things to focus on, but it seems really important to say that with this full moon energy, again, release, forgot about that, release all these things, release the feeling that you cannot see yourself as worthy. Release that rejection. Release the perfection. Let go of the impatience because it's not getting you anything that you need. Come out of that stuck zone. We're going to let go of that feeling of isolation, of waiting until the perfect time to do things and feel like we have to have this and that in place. We're going to release that. And you don't have to wait for an invitation. If you want to do something, then you can do it. It's kind of like I used to go to the movies by myself sometimes. If you want to do something and you don't have other people that want to go, just go. You might even meet somebody new. You never know. Release the gossip. So there's so many things to release and so many things that you can create. And remember that it's all about your perception. It's all about your perception. You can see it as joy, or you can see it as this rejection, isolation, and difficulties with gossip, perfection, and all that stuff. And then step in that prayer, whether it's writing down things like, in psychology, we call it stream of consciousness. In spirituality, sometimes they'll call it like automatic writing, things like that. It could even be actual prayers, meditations, even painting. Like painting has been a big thing. Painting, drawing, anything that you create. I'm coming back to the creation, and I know that was the first card that we got, and it's buried somewhere under here. Oh, here it is. It was up at the top. The creation. Anything that you create, when you become mindful, when you become quiet, when you become focused, when you connect to yourself, you connect to your heart, you connect to that energy that is not limited. Like you're not limiting yourself. You're connecting to that creativity, that joy. You're also connecting to the divine, whatever that is for you. And if there's a certain space where you feel the most connected, go there. If it's out in nature, I love nature. If it's out in nature, go out in nature. But allow yourself to let go of that feeling that you have to think about certain things. You have to do things a certain way. You have to be a certain way. Allow yourself to do something that scares you. You know, I've recorded some videos where I sang. I do not claim to be the best singer in the world, but at the same time, while it was a little bit scary, it was exciting and it felt like it was necessary. It felt like it was something that I needed to do. Even with the videos that I put out right now, I know even in this video, I've made a few mistakes. I don't have like the perfect setup. I don't have like music to introduce or any of those things. But I realized I don't really care about that so much because it's not about the production. It's about the messages. Those are what are important to me. It doesn't have to be perfect. And it took a long time for me to release the perfection. There was a point in time where I worked for a place where they asked me to read a chapter a week of a book because it had 52 chapters, and they were these little short 2 to 5 page chapters. And I would spend hours recording 1 2 to 5 page chapter because I would mess up and I'd re-record. And I finally, I don't remember what chapter, but closer to the end, almost a year, I finally got to the point where I just went ahead, and if I messed up, I would smile. I would maybe even giggle or whatever it was, laugh at myself, and then I would go on. So you've got to give up this perfection. No one's perfect. We're not going to be perfect all the time. You have to give up the expectation that you think others have. And like even this space that I've created for myself, you know, it's still a work in progress. It may look like a lot of color, a lot of clutter, a lot of things, a lot of different aspects. You know, we've got the gemstones, the angels, the singing bowl, the Santa Claus that one of my relatives, my aunt, painted that has moons and stars and things on it because she knows that I love those. The flower chakra thingamadoo on the wall that I created. There's so many different things, the feathers, but they are things that I love, things that make me happy. Even with my tattoos, they may seem very eclectic, very different, not necessarily cohesive. You know, my sleeves are not a solid image, but it's me. It's what I love. My ears, I do not have the same piercings exactly in each of my ears. They don't have to be completely balanced and symmetrical. My nails, this one is a little bit darker because the pinky nail, when I was going to glue it on, it fell and went down the vent. The vent in the floor. I don't know how it happened. But luckily I'd already painted a set that I didn't like because I was trying to go for that perfection. And so this was one of the lessons for me is that it ended up I just had to go with the flow. And so I used a nail from the other set that I had already put into the trash can, but the trash can only has like Cricut stickers that I've weeded and stuff like that, so nothing gross. But one of the things that I saw when I picked this up just a minute ago was this inner voice. Just keep in mind, let go of that inner voice that tells you that you have to do things a certain way or be a certain way, and let go definitely of these people who may or may not be gossiping about you. I mean, you must be really interesting if they're gossiping about you, right? Because it doesn't matter what they say. The people who know you and like you, they already know who you are. So if they hear this gossip and they believe it, well, that's a problem. But if they know you and they love you for who you are. That authenticity is such a huge thing. Being true to yourself. And I wish that I could get everyone to recognize this when they're younger. I do not regret the past, but I do wish that I had known when I was younger that I didn't have to try to fit in and try to be like everybody else. We are all unique, and that is one of our gifts, that we aren't like everyone else. So I do try to instill that into young people that I work with, that you just be true to yourself. As long as you are not hurting anyone, hurting yourself, or doing anything illegal, be yourself. Well, and if you're a young person, of course you have to listen to your parents. So, yeah, just be you. I feel like that's the message. And so I'm not going to be pulling cards from the other two decks because the Chakra Wisdom Oracle cards by Tori Hartman, and we have illustrations by Gretchen. I am not going to say this name correctly. Rice Baskin? Rice? I don't know. Either way, we got all the messages that we needed from these Chakra Wisdom Oracle cards. And I think it was very, very, very clear. Let go of that self-doubt. Ooh, it's Valentine's Day. Self-love. Love yourself. As much as you love and care for others, love yourself. So happy Valentine's Day to you. Take care.